Howdy everyone, Poacher here with an Age of Magic video, and in today's video we're doing the Hero Spotlight for Captain John, the healer of the Assassin's Guild. As you can see, he's got a bit of an orcish appearance to him, but he is part of the Assassin's Guild, so what can you do about it? The characters from the guild are kind of like characters from other factions. You've got Claudia Toxic, who appears she's from the Ra-Arachne. You've got Ash, who you could probably say is a barbarian, so I'm not against it. I'm glad there's characters in the game that appear from other factions, but they're their own faction. Anyway, we'll go over the stats, we'll go over the abilities, and we'll chuck the assassins of what we got so far into a battle against none other than the Renegades, because I guess that's how people value new characters these days. So let's do it. So, hit points, 8.9 million, speed 220, armor 113k, magic damage resistance 123k, basic damage 949k, critical hit chance 35%, critical damage 1.5 million. So, pretty decent. He's got three abilities and one passive. So, yeah, nothing much more to him. We'll go over the more in-depth stats here. Feel free to stop it and have a look at anything you wish. The information is there for you to take and use how you see fit. So let's jump into the battle now, look at his abilities, and talk about how you can potentially use this character. Jumping into battle, we have Captain John's basic ability triggers the healer damage at class mark, casts hit list on the target. The target on the hit list becomes vulnerable to enemy skills regardless of restrictions. Hit list ignores fortitude when cast, removed upon target death or transfer to another target. If a target on the hit list dies, this skill enters a cooldown for one turn. Deals damage to one target. The chance to deal critical damage with this ability is increased by the target's missing HP. Skills critical damage increased by 50%. So the ability has the potential to do a lot of damage. So we'll go ahead and use it against, I guess, Mordred, since we can attack him. So remember, he's got a, was it 35% crit rate? So there is that. Sorry, something just came up on my screen. Alright, so let's go ahead and look at the animation of the attack. He jumps and slashes, and of course the Mordred dodges. Let's jump back into that and have a look, because we actually want to see the damage. There we go. Nice little 3.1 million damage. Not bad. Not bad. So, again, the ability just looks like there's a lot to it, but it's not. It's just explaining the hit list. It's just your basic damaging ability. There's nothing really special about it. Just as the character's HP lowers, the more damage, or better chance you have of getting more damage out of the skill increases. So, yeah, not bad for a healer, that's for sure. Moving on to Captain John's second ability, we have Pre-Strike, triggers the healer damage at class mark, deals damage to one target, heals himself for 150% of the damage received, and heals all other allies for 100% of the damage received. So it's meant to say dealt. If the target is on the hit list, it casts 5 stacks of Bloody Offering on the caster, which is himself. At the start of his turn, the captain restores 4% of his max HP for each offering, after which the effects are removed. If John's HP is restored to 100% and there's an extra percent of healing left, it is divided among all his surviving allies, healing them. Bloody Offering limit is 15. So he will always take care of himself first before he takes care of his allies. So it's interesting. It's interesting in the sense that, in theory, the enemy should be targeting John first because he's considered a healer. Unless the AI has been programmed differently. For example, Phoenix is a great case where she's a healer, but the AI will not target her. So, yeah. We'll go ahead and look at the ability on the enemy Morrigan. So his blade shines blue and he goes ahead and attacks. You can see he's got 5 stacks now of Bloody Offering on him. So when his turn comes around again, he will receive 4. He will heal for 4 times 5% of his health. So what's that? That's 20. He'll heal for 20% of his max HP. Anything over that will be divided amongst his allies. So pretty straightforward. Pretty nice ability. Should work in theory. if the enemy targets him. His third ability is Sacrifice to the Sea. He's 100,000,000% an orc. He has to be. Deals damage to one target. Cast 5 stacks of Bloody Offering on the caster himself. If at the time of the attack the target is on the hit list and has 30% HP or less, then Captain John kills this target with no chance of resurrection. So that's good. We're always happy to see characters that cannot be resurrected. There are lots of characters now that can resurrect. They can be a pain. Belladonna. So to prevent resurrection is always good. He's got an execute built within him. Not so against him being... He just feels more like a damage dealer than an actual healer. But again, I'm not against that in the sense that it's an assassin guild. They're built to be assassins. It would be cool if he was built more, though, to a theme of like a poison character, like poisoning the enemy or whatever. But very interesting. We'll go ahead and look at the ability again. We'll jump to Captain John and we will use it. So, yeah, pretty straightforward. Oh, there's a bit more to it. Okay, so it sucks the soul out of the enemy. That's cool. And he gets his 5 stacks of Bloody Offering as well. So there is the potential for the stacks to rack up pretty high. You're probably thinking how, because when his turn comes around, he uses them, they disappear. We'll explain that in his passive, so we'll jump to his passive now. Moving on to his passive, we have Cursed Pirate. When taking any damage, including dot effects, the captain heals his allies for 50% of the damage received. If the captain dies, his allies recover 25% of their max HP. When all allied rogues or assassins receive any damage, including dot effects, the captain casts 1 stack of Bloody Offering on himself. If the captain kills an enemy, he heals all allies for 40% of their max HP. If the captain is supposed to die, but has a Bloody Offering on himself, he will restore HP instead, according to the offering conditions, only triggers once every 2 turns. So he's actually got a lot to him. Most of his kit is built into his passive. Everything else is kind of just damage dealing and putting stacks on himself, but everything comes down to his passive. So there's a lot to it. When taking any damage, including dot effects, so Claudia can apply dots to her allies and enemies. The captain heals his allies for 50% of the damage received. So the dots will be applied, or he will take damage when his turn comes around, but also taking damage during the enemy turn. So when taking any damage, including dot, the captain heals his allies for 50% of the damage received. So essentially, the enemy is dealing 50% damage. If the captain dies, his allies recover 25% of their max HP. It's a pretty decent heal, especially when, like I said, the AI is most likely going to be targeting him. When an allied rogue or assassin receives any damage, including dot effects, the captain... So that's where he's going to get most of his stacks from, especially if they're casting AoEs, for example. He's going to cast a lot of Bloody Offerings on himself, and that's when his turn comes around, he's going to heal for a lot. If the captain, see, if he does get 15 stacks, what is that? It's a 4% heal per stack. That's 60% max HP heal. That's fairly decent. If the captain kills an enemy, he heals all allies for 40% of their max HP. So he's got the execute built into him as well. So if he executes someone, he'll heal for a fair amount. If the captain is supposed to die but has a Bloody Offering on him, he will instead heal. So that's a very interesting. Only triggers once every 2 turns. So he's got an inbuilt death protection. So he has a fair amount of survivability and healing capabilities just in his passive. So damager up front, healer in the back. That's what he is. So yeah, very, very interesting character. I think he's got a lot of potential, but let's test it. We'll jump into a battle against the Mordred Chrome Irizit team. A very common tanky damage dealing team. And we'll see how the team performs. Okay, so we are jumping into battle, and we might not actually get to see a lot of Captain John in this fight, because if I am correct, the Mordred should go for the polymorph on him. So we are going to go ahead and start by... I guess we got the hit list on the Mordred, so can we take him out? We'll find out soon enough. Here comes the polymorph. Yep. All right, let's speed this up to 2. Okay, so some damage coming out. We're going to get the reflect on Yuki out. And now we could get the kill. Okay, fair bit of damage. There we go. Nice. Nice. Bye-bye, Mordred. Okay. Honestly, I'd rather it be on Morrigan, the hit list, than Mordred. But I digress. Okay, so I guess try and fortify. The fortify on the Renegades is just so ridiculous. Doesn't matter. We've got the advantage at the moment. They do not have their Mordred. So we just keep attacking. And we wait for our... Ooh! See ya, buddy. I really don't want to cast this. I want to wait for Captain John to come out of his hiding. Geez, that Chrome is taking some hits. Okay, Captain John comes out now. Gets a turn. Is that how... Should he get a turn straight away after coming out of that? Either way, let's just continue and we will look into that. Let's just use that. Probably don't want to use that. You probably want to save it for the execute. We'll use it anyway. And down goes the Morrigan. Let's move over to the Chrome now. Big damage. The animations aren't really working. Big damage. Nice. Okay, now let's put out the Toxic. We should get a fair bit of healing. Captain John nearly goes back up to full. Beautiful. Alright. And then we take out... There is it. Nice. Okay. Man, they're doing alright. That's not horrible. That Chrome took so... I wish it had stats at the end of the battle. I wish I could have a look at what healing was done, what damage was done, what damage was taken. I would love to see how much damage that Chrome took, because he lasted to the very end. That's all Yuki, though. Yuki is just making him an absolute tank. But, yeah. The only thing on the team that really sucks is the... It doesn't suck, it's just the Renegades having such high fortitude is not being able to lunacy one of the enemies. That would have made the fight a lot easier. I think we could have potentially got a 3-star there. But yeah, there's definitely potential in them. I mean, that's definitely one of the harder... I mean, they're all hard, Renegade squads. But it has high damage potential and high defensive potential as well. So I think they did quite well. So there, that is Captain John. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment below. I will answer it to the best of my ability. And we'll be around the world. Until next time, please take care of yourself.